where the storms gather.
Yeah, that's the Stillwater Mountain Range. We climbed over those mountains, going over 7,000 feet. There's still snow at the highest peaks. We were on the other side of those mountains. I remember seeing the peak from the other side. And now we're in another expansive valley, which is Dixie Valley. Went from the 40-mile desert in Carson Sink to Dixie Valley. And we'll still be entering even the Sand Mountain area soon when we go up to Middlegate Station. Storm's gathering. I don't know how much time we got, but it's moving east. It's not moving south where Middlegate is, so we'll be all right for the next 2 hours at least. And that's all I need. It's Expedition 2. We're heading to the heart of Dixie Valley where all the abandoned ranches are. And, you know, they could be haunted. Some of them date back to over 100 years ago. And these ranchers did die, and their children sometimes passed away from illness. And they were buried at the cemetery. Really, this cemetery is all we can access of old Fairview, because many of the residents of the ghost town of Fairview are buried there, but the military fenced it off, so it's about all the access I have. If I would have went years ago, maybe. Actually, they fenced it off in recent times, because they keep expanding. But we're going to be heading into the ranch country, so we might see more wild horses and free roaming cattle. It's a storm brewing. And off in the distance, there are some dust devils. You can see them brewing. A lot of dust devils in Dixie Valley. We're between the Stillwater and Clad Mountain Range. Dixie Valley cattle grazing 24 hours a day, all day. Not much has changed in the last 100 years. Found something we can investigate. We'll stop here, and then I'm going to go on Smith Road, and then we're going to go to Middlegate before we get hit with the storm. This might be, I'm not sure what this is. I mean, there is some barns or some sort of, I don't know what you'd call them. These look like training exercise. Yep. Well, maybe, I don't think it's historic. I thought these were sheds, and they look like ammo boxes, man, stacked up. But we could still take a couple photos of it. And there's a pond. You're allowed to picnic at every pond they have listed. And there's an old foundation right there. I don't know what this was. Maybe an old building they use now for training exercises. Pretty cool. Last stops before I head down this, there's a road up here I'm going to go check out, but one of our last stops is this place. When I was here, this place was not abandoned. Tammy's right. I seen people, I seen vehicles, there's nobody here, but it's wide open, there's windows smashed, it's been vandalized, there's junk everywhere, debris, there's nobody here, and it looks like the electrical line's been severed up here, so... And there's a lot of bullet shots to the drum. There's probably somebody, I seen this on a site where somebody took a picture of the stone buildings. Just another ranch in the area. What we're going to do is I'm going to walk up this. I'm pretty brazen. Here we go. It's a creepy little place. Tammy's like, I'm creeped out, I'm not going here. It's much darker than it actually is outside. Outside it's pretty, I mean, it's only like 3:15 and it's almost looks like it's night, but it doesn't get dark anymore till 6. Tammy's like, what if some backwoods people live here? It could be. There's some weird people that live in abandoned places like this. Fuck you, no thanks. Someone wrote down. Investigate real paranormal cases all the time. Some are urban exploration, some are historic sites, some are paranormal hotspots, but we always have something nice cooking up. And today we found some new sites in Dixie Valley, including the cemetery. So our second expedition was well worthwhile. I don't regret coming out here, climbing over that mountain range you see ahead of us to get to this location. A lot of cans and junk. It stinks in there too. I definitely am not going in there. Can't spend too much time here. Like I said, I still got Middlegate Station and another couple ranches in Dixie Valley if I can find them. But we've been here. The first time we've been to this place, we did a really bang-up job. We actually had seen a lot of different cool sites. And so I've passed a lot of them thinking, well, I already been there. Why not waste our energy on a new site somewhere we haven't been? And of course, I found this ranch, which is abandoned, that we can kind of explore. I'm running EVP. It's creepy, man. You never know. It feels like you might run into somebody that will friggin' jump out at you. That's why Tammy's like, I'm not going. The place is gutted, but that doesn't mean somebody's not squatting here, you know. It's pretty cold at night, but people still squat in abandoned places. It's an old fridge. Wow. Just a lot of piles of wood and junk here. It's a truck driver driving around. He's just sitting on the road. It's very weird. It's dirt roads back here, and this guy's just sitting there. I don't know. I don't want to be here too long. You get a lot of weird shit happen. Have a nice wood stove here as well. See the Jeep out here and the wood stove. No windows. This place has been heavily vandalized and nobody up here. Have a little horseshoe here sketched in. I'm sure children lived here. This was a happy place. Maybe a workshop? I don't know. Little lamp. I mean, there's really nothing remaining of this place. I mean, when you look, I mean, how does that happen? How does that become? See, there's a lot of strange shit. When you look at this places like this, you see shit like this in Dixie Valley. Tracks, mutilations, you name it, you see it. Scarecrow leaves the fence and appears 50 feet at another area of the fence. Just weird stuff. UFOs out here. It's just another thing. It's like, what kind of force would have to cause fencing like this to break? You know, you have post blocking it, and the fencing is just torn and twisted and mangled all around. They could have used some twisted, mangled fencing and just put it together to make it, but I don't know. You see this a lot up in Dixie Valley with almost every single fence. It's just weird. It's a corral. They probably had horses. They probably separated their animals. Maybe horses, chickens, pigs, but there's like 2 to 3 different corrals. An area to load up the cattle as well. Cattle loading area. But I don't want to be here too long. I still got another site and then I got to head on out of here. I've had the honor of at least being able to check out this place. Little homestead made out of stone. There's also ponds, and almost every homestead is either a spring or a pond. It's pretty cool. And while I wrap up, I have one more little site to check out. An example of the springs. Here you go, natural springs. Almost every ranch had some springs. You won't be able to build a ranch or sustain yourself if you didn't have water and springs or a well. And every site I've been to almost has had one so far. This kind of is creepy. VHS types. It's just a trailer. It's better on video than pictures. Chicken coop, maybe? Or outhouse. Oh yeah, probably chickens. We don't want to stay here too long. That trailer's creepy, the door's all creaking, but there's nobody up here. Now, I'm not saying there can't be ghosts. There could be ghosts. Wow. This trailer was used. Maybe the house became too deplorable to live in, so they just lived on the land to try to take care of the property or renovate it. Anybody hear me? Give me a sign you're here. Any ghost, any spirits, dearly departed, want to speak? It's an old coffee maker, old home-style soup. I'm sure the military did some training exercises here. If you search around Dixie Valley, you're going to find all kinds of abandoned ranches and farmhouses. Some are haunted. I believe they are. We have to go through our evidence, but a lot of energy. Many 2-3 generations, many generations lived on these ranches. And they made a life here and they died here. Why lie? It's the truth. Bullet. Look at that, the glass is shattered. There's even holes from bullets. And you don't want to mess with anybody up here. Look at that. Woo! Wow. These makeshift fences. So I'm going to head back, I'm going to take a panorama, and I'm out of here. It's never good to spend too much time at these places. Like I say, I mean, there are some bad people up in the Nevada desert. Good people too, but, like I had a guy say something to me today. Don't stop the cows from drinking water, and I'm thinking, dude, I'm on the road, 50 feet away, and I'm taking pictures. You can get within 50 feet. They're not going to, freak out. I can't help that I was out taking photos of the corral and video, and I come back and there's cows drinking. You know what I mean? But the ranchers have got to share this land with outdoor enthusiasts. They got to. That's what it really comes down to. A lot of old wood ties, too. Fence post. There's some beams. I'm not all sure if there was a larger barn. Those are pretty wide beams. Something that look like railroad ties. That's what they might be. But sometimes when the railroad shut down, the beams went to ranchers so they could build barns.